Skull, you're an idiot.
That might work.
You think you guys can handle all that?
Can we handle him? Can we handle him?
We're the Manson Brothers.
We can handle him.
Welcome back. It's another episode of the Manson Brothers Show. That's right. Yours truly, Stone Manson, and my brother here, Skull Manson, a.k.a. Carlos. Got a new hat on this week, huh?
You like that hat?
Is it like a leather cowboy hat? What is that thing?
Yeah, it's like a leather. It's like a. It looks like a rip from Yellowstone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you look just like Rip from Yellowstone.
Well, I
Anyway,
ripped it off.
This week we are going to talk about the movie that kind of spawned all the zombie movies, the one and only Italian horror classic, Zombie. We're also going to talk about wrestling. We're going to have our word of the week, and we have got a very, very, very special surprise. I've got a treat in store. You guys are going to freak out.
Who came?
We're coming right back with Zombie.
Do you realize what you just did?
Vic, I lost my temper. I apologize lugubriously.
I don't know what that means.
All right, and we're back. It's the Manson Brothers Show. I'm the ultimate hellraiser, Stone Manson. I'm here with the immovable force, Skull Manson. He's got another hat on this week. I don't even know what to make of it. Looks like a bird could crap on the brim of that thing at any point in time.
Hey, several birds have crapped on this hat.
I am not
To be
surprised.
fair,
You don't think you actually look like the guy from Yellowstone, do you?
no, he just wishes he was me, but that's okay.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case. Anyway, hey, this week we have got a super special treat in store. I'm not going to spoil it just yet, but it flows right into everything we're talking about this week. We're going to talk a little rock music. We're going to talk a little bit of wrestling.
We're going to talk
Probably
about
going to talk a
wrestling.
little bit about food.
Talk about
this
wood.
week. Going to talk about wood.
We talk
Talk
about
booze.
optometrists.
Ophthalmologist, I think, would actually be the case. But,
Isn't that a guy that hypnotizes you with his eyes?
Nope, that's a pneumesticist.
No,
or a
that's
hypnotist.
that's a guy that no.
Stop trying to figure it out. What we're talking about this week is the classic movie,
1979.
simply titled Zombie. Zombie.
Now I might point something out before we get started.
Please do.
That some people have said this was an unofficial sequel to Night of the Living Dead, or it's an unofficial sequel, a prequel to Dawn of the Dead. Neither of which are true. I found out because I asked. And
I've never heard either of those.
What it was Fulci was inspired. This was made after Dawn of the Dead.
Right.
So it was neither a sequel nor a prequel, but they called it Zombie. I think it was called Zombie 2 in
Was it made
Europe.
before Dawn of the Dead?
It was made before Dawn of the Dead.
Okay. By the way, spoilers, if anybody's watching and hasn't seen Zombie,
we're going to wreck it for you.
hit pause, hit subscribe first, then hit pause, then
Watch
go
the
watch
movie,
Zombie,
and then
come back and hear what great takes.
This is one of my favorite zombie films of all
Yes,
time.
well, and the reason for that is you are somehow I feel like we were separated, not at birth, but I'm pretty sure you were adopted and you've got some Italian.
That's what you
heritage
say.
in you.
Mom always said,
You love
"Oh,
gnocchi.
Carlos,
You
the
love-
mailman leave you, Carlos."
Yeah, see,
In
I
her stupid
totally
mom
think that's
language
the case.
nobody speaks.
That's Spanish that like 40 million people on the planet speak.
Oh yeah, okay, Stone.
I digress. To your Italian heritage, this is one of I'm not going to say a long line, but great Italian horror directors. We've got Fulci, we've got
Romero, we got Max Martini.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, come on,
Yeah.
that goes without saying.
Yeah, and of course Dario Argento.
Argento, yes. What Martini directed? What movie was that? About those guys who
the
saved the world?
Manson Brothers
Oh
Midnight Zombie
yeah, the
Massacre.
Manson Brothers Midnight Zombie Massacre, about two guys who actually saved the world. This
And get no
one
credit
more
for
time and get no credit. All we got was this lousy YouTube show.
But it ain't
and even that we had
lousy.
to fight for. But Martini,
is Italian,
he is Italian. Yeah.
and he actually speaks Italian.
Does he really?
He does fluently.
Buongiorno.
Pasta fazool,
Luigi.
ravioli.
What's the other one? Luigi and who? Oh, Mario. Yeah. Donkey
Mario.
Kong.
All right.
So
So in the
Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
again, in the
That would
in the
go well with
vast in the vast
pantheon
of Italian horror directors, we put Max in the top 5. But let's get back to Lucio Fulci,
because there's only 4
who directed Zombie.
Mhm.
In my opinion, has the most realistic looking zombies. They look
Yeah.
like corpses, and even by today's standards,
Man, let me tell you, when I used to go to the video store, right? Remember?
Yeah.
This was without a doubt
the best video
the
box.
best box with the
Had the zombie
skull with the worm coming out.
Yeah,
Ugh.
teeth are all effed up. It was scary. And those zombies, even today, by today's standards, are scary.
They're
looking.
scary zombies.
And they
no doubt.
move, they lumber like corpses. I mean, the Fulci did a great job of casting those people and directing them because they're real.
Well, and if you dig down deeply into the, kind of genesis and backstory of zombies in general, it was a very kind of primal, tribal thing.
Very voodoo-ish.
Voodoo, where they came back to work.
You hear the voodoo drums in the back of the movie
The whole movie.
That's what's making the dead come back to life. Apparently, they pissed off some medicine man, the white people on the island.
Also, this is the first movie, and maybe the only movie in the history of movies, period, that starts off in Manhattan and winds up somewhere, I'm assuming, in like an island in the Caribbean. Somehow. Which, by the way,
some island.
Super long voyage. I mean, that's like, let's call it months for that boat to matriculate its way from the island into the harbor.
I failed matriculate in high school 3 times.
That
had to take it in summer school.
and a bunch of other classes.
Yeah, well, we're not talking about that.
Academics never your strong suit. But
no, neither was school.
You got a heart of gold, buddy.
Thanks. Only we could sell it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Indeed. Boy, I'd be living easy. Anyway,
I'd probably be dead, but
back to Zombie.
Yeah.
You would be dead.
Yeah.
They didn't eat hearts. These ones didn't even really eat brains, right?
No, they just ate people.
They just kind of ate people.
Just like the original Romero zombies that ate everything. They just ate the people in general, right? And so there's a real, I'm going to spoil this one for you. So again, if you haven't seen the movie, shut it off.
Pause. Hit subscribe.
There's a super creepy scene where the people get to the island and they go to the doctor's house. He's not home, but his wife has already been killed. And there's a bunch of zombies standing over her, kind of eating her. And it is really creepy and really scary.
Yeah.
Really scary. But before that happens, when they're on a boat, possibly one of the only films I've ever seen this in, which is they have like the worst scuba suit ever.
Well, I was going to say, you talk about the numerous, we'll call them creepy scenes or just kind of disheartening scenes in the movie, and we're going to touch on a few of those after. It also has a few of the what I would call maybe most preposterous scenes of all time in the history of a film. Let us with that touch on the scuba outfit.
Yes, that's how it starts.
Yes.
Whoa. So it starts out where this chick, she for whatever reason, she just decides they're stopped in a good spot. I'm going to go scuba diving, right? So she gets on what you're supposed to buy is a swimsuit. I'm not sure you could call it a suit.
Let's just call it half a suit.
I don't even know if you could call it a half a suit.
Except she had a thing on her head.
Yeah, thank God, a bathing cap.
That had like more.
Had more material on it than anything that covered up her body. Let's just put it to you that way.
Her body wasn't covered
Actually,
up.
I'm not going to put it to you anyway. She was butt naked.
Her bottom was covered.
Her bottom was covered. Barely. It was mesh.
Yes.
The only other thing she was wearing is the scuba tank.
So picture shower cap, breathing apparatus,
and bare tits.
And woven bottom.
And a woven bottom that left very little to a young man's imagination.
Exactly. And she's
a beautiful chick. Beautiful
and
chick.
Good for her. She was doing the buddy system down with a partner.
Could you see her talking to Fulci about that? Like, maybe like Lucio, do I have to be?
I'm wondering about the scuba suit.
He's like, it's too much. I think we need to tone it down just a little bit. You take over the top, you expose your ample amounts, and then you go under the water, and then what happens?
I can see him saying, oh, everybody around the world is scuba diving topless.
Yeah, it's
only
the
in
trend
Italy
now.
are people wearing a top while scuba.
Yes, you don't know what you're talking about. I know all about these
I've been
things.
around the world making movies, making a film.
You have to, in order to make
all
it a
of which have a
realistic,
scuba.
in order to make heartwarming zombie film about flesh-eating zombies,
Topless
you have
is
to
scuba.
expose it at tits.
Topless is scuba, for sure.
Yeah. So that was probably
It's okay.
that.
Yeah.
But here's the kicker to it.
Yes.
So once she gets under the water, probably like the most improbable thing happens.
She stumbles upon not only a zombie,
But a shark.
but a shark. And in
it's
what
a
can only
big
be
shark.
described as the most famous scene
In any zombie
maybe
movie.
any zombie movie. of all time.
Zombie versus
Zombie versus shark.
I'm wondering if that kind of ridiculous thing with a shark didn't give them the idea for Sharknado.
Well, I was gonna say, what if it was zombie versus Sharknado? Who wins that one?
Ooh, I don't know.
That's pretty tough. 'Cause
Yeah.
There's a lot of I can see a zombie and a shark, but and I don't know which came first, zombie or
or her bare butt.
Well, no, was it Moonraker? Which one was it
Oh.
with Jaws? where
You know
he bit
what?
the
They
shark?
were around the same time, 1979.
Yeah, one of them had to rip off the other one.
I'm gonna guess Fulci ripped off
You think?
James Bond. I'm just saying. The Italians, in films, not known for original ideas.
Knowing our low budget horror family as we
Yeah,
do, yes.
I'm gonna go with
Probably
that they ripped off
that.
James Bond. But in any event, it actually is a pretty cool scene
Yeah.
for being ridiculous, and they don't treat it cornball at all. They play it serious.
Oh no, they play it 100% serious.
and it works like a dream. And she, just watch it if you haven't seen it. It's cool.
I have another scene. that
I bet you have another scene.
and it involves
You're right.
your eye. And wood of all things.
And wood, and we get wood every day, even at our advanced age.
That's
They
true.
deliver it. We build houses, birdhouses. We build towel bars,
Every now
all
and then we
kinds
make a
of
deck,
stuff.
anything like
deck.
that, stair treads.
Yeah,
whatever the
we'll
case
do
may be.
anything with it for money. We'll pretty much. So anyway, so the scene, it's like this, and then right in the eye.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's
It
pretty
leaves
gruesome.
nothing to your imagination.
No.
Where Carpenter say in Halloween left everything to your imagination, Fulci leaves nothing to your imagination. In
No.
fact, I think Fulci had a thing with eyeballs because it's not the only movie where he destroys people's eyeballs.
Really?
No, he did it in several of his movies. And there you go. And rumor has it he wasn't a real big fan of women, which is why the movies are really
Oh.
mean-spirited towards women. Like if you wanted to make that movie today, I'm pretty sure they'd be like, Lucio, I'm not seeing a lot here where the guys get like mutilated much or anything, but they do.
Quick PSA for all you ladies out there. I love women. Shoot me an email.
Yeah, I do too. I do too.
By the way, send us an email. Check out the website. Thank you again for tuning in this week. We want you to subscribe.
Yeah.
I'd like to kind of, we've been talking about Italy and Italian things.
Yeah.
We talked about gnocchi and how we think you're Italian and adopted.
Yeah,
whatever. I think this is the perfect time to bring out
The treat.
what
Comes through?
what-
You asked me for this. I said I could do
What
it, and
I
I did
think-
it.
what I think is up until this point, probably the biggest thing to happen to our show.
Yep.
Since
So
the
without
inception of the
further
show.
ado,
Let's have it.
there it is, right there.
What is that?
That's what you asked for. You asked me for this thing. I said, I don't know if he's going to do it. I went right down on a hot dog stand. I asked Frank, I'm like, hey, man, can I borrow your cologne? He didn't understand. He's like, it's kind of just cheap knockoff shit. I'm like, well, Stone wants it. He gives it to me. And there it is, folks. Frank's cologne for you. Right?
Idiot, I didn't ask you. You said you could get Frank Stallone.
Frank Stallone.
You said we were going to have Frank Stallone on the show. I said, you can get Frank Stallone? You said, yeah, I can get Frank Stallone the whole time.
Not Frank's cologne.
Frank Stallone of not Rocky, but Sylvester Stallone's brother.
Frank Stallone. Yeah, I don't know him.
What the fuck is this?
Frank's cologne. That's what
Frank?
I thought you said.
First off, who's Frank?
The guy that works at the hot dog stand that was in prison and it's the only job he could get.
He uses cologne out of a goddamn Spider-Man bottle.
Well, admittedly, it's a knockoff, but you know.
Folks, my immense apologies for this steaming idiot. I thought we were going to have Frank Stallone.
I don't know him.
Yeah, we've already established that you don't know Frank Stallone. If we could establish it before the show next time, we do something like this, that would be fantastic.
So wait, so before
This
we
is
get
why I
onto
have a
that,
drinking problem, folks.
so let
real
me
quick,
guess, you didn't.
Could I get another? If we had a PA, I'd have one bring me another one.
So just so we're clear, you didn't ask me for an arrangement from Robert's Plants.
Robert Plant.
Yeah, I don't know him either. Well, anyway, moving right along.
Yeah, let's do that.
We were talking about zombie
Scenes in the movie Zombie.
Yeah.
So let me just, I'm going to drive the bus here, because if not, I'm going to slap you in the head. There's another scene where we start getting conquistadors popping up.
Yeah, it's where they buried the Spanish conquistadors on this island, and that's where you get all these cool looking rotted zombies, and they're coming out and there's wormy eyeballs and all kinds of shit. And that's when shit hits the fan. Conquistadors. I remember the Conquistadors. You remember them?
Frank's cologne.
Honest mistake.
Of tag team jobber fame?
Yeah, the Conquistadors. Who watches wrestling? Okay, who remembers the Conquistadors? Possibly the greatest tag team jobbers of all time. You know what?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, we got
tag team jobbers.
right there. Somebody else remembers, because there's an email.
All right. We've got a viewer email today. Let's get to it. This one comes from Felicia. And
Jeez, did I read that one wrong?
Felicia's from Inglewood, California.
Oh, nice.
And Felicia writes, guys, great show on Zombie, by the way. Would have loved to have seen Frank Stallone. Too bad Skull buggered that up, like everything else throughout our lives, careers, everything. Who, in your estimation, are the best jobbers in the history of wrestling?
What's a jobber?
But first, thank you, Felicia, for your email. That brings us to our wrestling jargon word of the week.
Jobber.
And that is jobber.
Jobber. What is a jobber? A jobber is or now as they call them, development guys.
Enhancement talent.
Enhancement talent.
Yes.
Right. So these are guys that they're not going to make stars, and they do jobs. Doing a job is just going out and letting the other guy beat your ass.
Mm-hmm.
You get no offense, you get no move. Maybe if the guy's nice, he'll throw you a move or something, but normally just throws you a beating, and you get pinned, and that's it. So you're a jobber. But there were some guys that made their living like that, made it really well. And in fact, there were actually guys that were pretty good wrestlers too.
Yeah, sure.
Like Jake the Milkman Milliman.
Well, I don't know if I'd throw Jake the Milkman Milliman into the good wrestler jobber category. As a matter of fact, Jake the Milkman Milliman was part of one of the greatest angles of all time.
He was.
Where you remember the East-West connection?
Yep.
Was that it? When they broke up?
Yep.
And it was Adrian Adonis.
Yep.
Had moved on to go wrestle with whom? I can't remember who his new tag team partner was.
Jesse Ventura.
No, it was Jesse Ventura that said he could beat the tag team champion by himself.
Yeah, that's right.
But the AWA commission would not let him challenge him by himself.
So he needed a partner.
So he said, I'll take the next best thing to wrestling by myself. My tag team partner will be Jake
the Milkman
Milliman. Yes. And remember how I said that really long braid?
Yeah.
Ponytail?
Yeah. It was cool. I like Jake. All right, who else?
I'd say Dusty Wolf.
Dusty Wolf. There's a
remember him
from the past. Yeah. How about the Brooklyn Brawler?
The Brooklyn Brawler.
Maybe the most
great.
famous jobber of all time.
I don't know. Barry Horowitz, I would throw in
Barry
there.
Horowitz, big time.
Well,
big time.
we could seriously go on this one for days. You've got SD Jones.
But he wasn't really a jobber, though.
He was a jobber. He was like a glorified. What about
special?
What about the unpredictable Johnny Rods?
Johnny Rods.
He even had a wrestling
Boy,
school.
You're digging it out there, man.
I would actually bring up some guys who went on to become very good. Wait a minute. What about Sonny Rogers?
Yeah, he was a jobber for New York.
Jobber in New York.
Yeah, but talent here in Chicago.
Yeah, I would bring up guys like Louis Spicolli was a jobber who went on. To become a pretty good worker.
Yeah, he sure did. Yeah, and in WCW.
Yeah,
before he passed away.
Mick Foley was a jobber.
Mick Foley was a jobber.
Forever.
That's right.
Before he went on to become Mankind and all that.
Yep.
The Hardys were jobbers.
Yep.
A lot of guys. Mike Anthony.
Mike Anthony
was an enhancement talent around the way.
Yep. Danny
Um,
Cavell, aka Danny Christopher Daniels, the Fallen Angel.
Was Danny ever a jobber? I don't know.
Job for me,
You keep telling that story,
but it's a true story, and I got the videotape to prove it. Anyway,
love
you, Danny. I love you.
What about oh God, what was it? Salvatore Bellomo. Sal Bellomo.
Well, that works right into our Italian bit.
Well, it would have if you hadn't have destroyed Frank Stallone for me, but Stallone.
He did.
Stallone.
Cologne.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So there's a list of some of the greatest jobbers of all time. If you guys have your favorites, send them in. Remember Barry O?
Barry O.
I mean, there's a million of them.
AKA Barry Orton, brother of
Was that Barry Orton?
Cowboy Bob
Yeah,
Orton.
well, see now that's where you're like really on the down because Cowboy Bob was huge. Obviously, Randy's huge.
Yep. Cowboy Bob's dad was too.
He
Before
was
in the golden era. That's right.
So remember, kids, jobber. And by the way, the term jabroni
Comes from the word
comes from the word jobber.
And
or
contrary to popular belief, The Rock did not make it up.
he did not.
He said it a lot, but it was around for decades before Dwayne came along.
No offense, Dwayne.
No
but
offense.
She didn't invent
But
the word
he-
jabroni.
yeah. In fact, most of the stuff that guys say and do in wrestling, they didn't come up with. They stole it from somewhere else.
Carnivals back in the day. Hookers. That's another show.
Uh,
Anyway, so back to zombie.
what's your
we-
favorite scene in there?
Well,
The shark?
no, my favorite scene is the scuba outfit.
No,
100%. That chick outside of
I
her
could have guessed.
is banging. That
Well,
hairdo
she had
is
it
like-
was a late 70s hairdo
Terrible.
where everybody had a perm, including the guy. Watch Invasion of the Body Snatchers with Donald Sutherland.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stupid
that
afro.
whoever came up with that concept, someone should
Mike
come.
Brady had
Someone
it.
should come back in time.
Robert Reed. They all had hair. They all had perm.
and they should do like
I should talk. My barber don't know nothing about haircuts, right?
And then there's this.
And then there's Maud.
Someone should literally.
Actually, that chick kind of looks like Adrienne Barbeau, sort of.
yeah, a
Little bit.
not as George's mom would say, bosom me. But someone should go full Terminator and come back in time and kill the person who invented the perm
No,
so that it never gets unleashed
no,
onto society.
no. But you know
Uh,
what my favorite scene is in that movie?
What?
My
You
favorite
tell 'em.
scene is the scene at the end where the zombies are walking across the Brooklyn Bridge and you hear the radio announcer going, "They're breaking into the set. They're breaking into the studio."
Yeah.
Ah." It's so cool and it's so creepy because you could see people driving out of the city. Like
Right.
obviously, Fulci stole that shot. Like I'm pretty sure he didn't go get permits for it. He went up there with a van
That was
and
guerrilla.
a bunch of
for
extras
sure.
and went, okay, you're walking across to the bridge. I'm going to shoot it. We get a one shot and that's it.
If a policeman stop you, just a
You're-
run.
Yeah,
Keep
just
it
a
running.
run. But it worked out great. It's a really creepy scene. The credits start rolling over the ending and then they break in and they go to black.
Renegade filmmaking,
Love
baby,
it.
at its finest.
Love it.
And I think one of the really cool things about all great zombie movies is they have that seminal moment where there's a reporter.
Wait a minute. Don't get 30 now. Don't talk about Seminoles and, all that
It's a
pornographic
growth
stuff you
moment.
talk.
Moments where there's a reporter or a newscaster or something and they're delivering. Remember when the thing used to come on Tuesdays, the
Yeah,
national
Yeah,
weather and you'd be scared as shit.
yeah, the alerts.
It's the same thing.
Still
it's like
comes on Tuesday.
you're hearing somebody on the radio say,
This
"Oh,
is not a test.
this isn't a test. The dead are coming back to life. Go to such and such." And it's totally creepy, man. Like, and I think all great zombie movies have that. And I thought it was cool that Fulci did it at the end. It was like you saw these people get through this horrible thing.
Yeah,
and
because
then-
up until that time, it's pretty much contained on that
right, to
island.
the island. And then you realize, oh my God.
The
it's
cop, yeah, they kill a cop at the beginning, and the cop comes back and
It's in New York, and all
Yeah.
hell is literally
love that
breaking
movie.
loose.
And to this day, one of the grisliest films you're ever gonna see. It
Yeah,
was banned in
without a
so
doubt.
many countries because it was so gory, and the special effects, whoever did them, I'm telling you, they hold up today as good as they looked then. They're really
100%. The
realistic
practical
looking.
effects are
Oh,
fantastic.
God, they're off the hook.
Speaking of All Hell's Breaking Loose, by the way, one of
Mm.
the most underrated Kiss songs of all time.
All hell's breaking
You
loose.
guys are
Yeah, yeah, it is a good song. Too.
Which, I mean,
It is a good song.
much like Zombie, is a
underrated.
is a zombie movie that kind of lifted all the other zombie movies. Kiss is the band that kind of created.
There is one zombie movie better than Zombie. Maybe we'll do a show on it.
I'm sure we'll be talking.
It's from 1974 and it's called The Living Dead at Manchester Morgue. It's a Spanish Italian co-production.
We will not be talking about that one.
Yeah, we will. It's an excellent film, one of the best. He just don't like because he gets us scared.
I just don't anything from. Is it a Conquistador movie? You said it's from Spain.
No,
Conquistadors scare me.
It's not a Conquistador.
The ones that used to wear the gold outfits.
You just got scared that one time from that male stripper that showed up at your birthday
party. They pooped in my gym bag one time in the locker room, so I don't like those guys anymore.
That wasn't them.
With that said, folks, it's time to take it home this week. Carlos, tell the people where they can get the merch.
You guys can get his shirt, really cool. That got what has a funny saying on the back. You can get Blu-ray or a DVD of the Manson Brothers Midnight Zombie Massacre, starring us, Randy Couture, Adrian Pastar, the incredible DB Sweeney, and a bunch of other people. Directed by Max Martini. You can get
the Italian Max Martini.
Yeah,
great horror.
You can get one of these cool pictures of us. We'll sign it for you and everything. We'll sign everything. Get one of these ducky hats, and you can get a race car.
It's like a Mario Kart.
That actually ran in a NASCAR race.
Did on Halloween.
MansonBrothers.com. You could drop us a line there, ask us questions, and we will answer you back.
And we will, whether you like it or not, be back next week. Until then,
see you later, shitty pants.
Don't forget to put those shopping carts away, kids.